sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so contained. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah.
It's time. It's time. It's time for the podcast you've all been waiting for. League of Reyes. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we are proud to present to you the best tag team of the podcast world, the low-tech cyberpunk Techno my hetero life mate standing next to me in the metaverse, the infamous MySpace MILF Hunter, the Soul Glow himself, Orange Atacon!
Woo! Woo! How you like that
Keep
one?
that same energy, bro. Keep that same energy. I see you woke up with Black Air Force energy today.
Oh man, I feel good. I feel good.
I felt that came from your soul, bro. That literally came from your soul. I'm gonna walk around with that moniker now, MILF Hunt. I'm gonna walk around with that moniker now.
The infamous MySpace MILF Hunter, man.
MySpace MILF Hunter. Mind you, we all know moms are still on MySpace. Now.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, these intros get better and better every week. Every week.
I try, man. I try.
Bruce Buffer better watch out. You're coming for his job.
Hell yeah. Gotta have a freaking side gig somehow.
Oh man.
How you been, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a few weeks. You know, we'll let you guys know about that in just a minute. It's been a few weeks, man. So it's been a while since I've seen you. It's been a while since we talked. How you been, man? How's everything?
Everything's been good. Everything's been a little exhausting. We do apologize to everyone, actually. We do apologize for the simple fact that we haven't been we haven't been streaming as we wanted to, just because a little someone has certain issues.
Wait, no, not yet. Hold on, no, not yet.
He's got to reel me in.
Right. That's the greatest news we've got this month, this year.
I know, right?
We can't just throw it in there like that. First things first, guys. We just want to apologize. The last few streams have not been the greatest. We were running into a lot of technical issues, but you know what? That's it's podcast. If we're not trying to troubleshoot or trying to fix something in the middle of a podcast, that's not us. Um, we've worked on it over the last few weeks, tested a few things. Still running into some hiccups, but we've seen improvement. Um, the other reason why we took a 2 week hiatus was because probably the greatest thing that happened this year. A little a little a little a little a little gift came to my man Tecmo Joe. Probably, I mean, his are probably the greatest gift, but yeah. I'll let you talk about. I'll let you do your thing. Man. Go ahead.
So for everyone to actually understand what we're talking about, the greatest gift is I've been in the hiatus for the simple fact that my missus has finally given birth to my sleeping beauty, as I like to call her. So Tecmo Joe has finally, who would have freaking thought this, but has finally became a damn dad, a darn
Oh,
dad. So I got my little buttercup upstairs chilling with the moms, with the missus, and man, was that freaking long. So some people think, hey, you're only gonna give your missus, your fiance, your wife is only gonna be there for maybe like a couple hours and then maybe a day or two, and then you guys are gone. No, that's I've been tired. I've been exhausted. But that's only because um my missus had to have a C-section, but that was after almost a 24-hour labor period. So we went in on a Tuesday night. We didn't come home, or went in on a Tuesday night, gave birth on a Thursday morning at like, was it around midnight? And we didn't get home until Sunday. So we were there for a while. We were there for a while, but this little chipmunk, this little precious, my precious, is is definitely a gift that I wasn't really sure if I was gonna get during the time frame that I was in, during my lifetime, I should say. And that's only because I do crazy shit. I keep going off doing crazy shit, and I am, you can say, I am a thrill hunter, I guess, because I've always wanted to stay back in the military or do something that was useful to me, that I would think was useful for the world or for our freaking civilization and whatnot. But like everyone loves to tell me, God works in mysterious ways, and lo and behold, little precious, little sleeping beauty buttercup is actually born, was in my hands, was in my arms, freaking at midnight on February 9th. So yeah, that was interesting. That was definitely interesting going through the whole process and seeing that they don't want you. You always hear people bringing video recorders, or like back in the day, you have like these gigantic freaking cameras, freaking videotaping. No, they don't allow you doing that anymore. And at the same time, I was trying to peek my phone. They're like, no, 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 no. It's a sterile environment. Sterile environment. Like, mother.
so you're telling me they didn't let you eat pizza?
I know. Well, you can't eat pizza. You can't eat anything in the sterile room when they're doing the freaking operation. Obviously.
I mean,
Obviously.
come
Come on.
on. I mean, but fair enough. Fair enough. But bro, seriously, I mean, I already told you this when it happened. Congratulations to you. It's long overdue. Maybe it's a sign to slow your ass down now.
I don't know about that.
Oh man. But yeah, guys, that's that's it's one of the two main reasons why we've been away for a while. But we're back. Um We're back, and today figured new addition to the team. New addition to the team, new storyline. We never told you guys about our storyline. How, I mean, you guys know how we met and all that other craziness. By the way, we have to talk about that Christmas story again. Technical difficulties did not catch that story.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But
Oh, Rangel, actually, it looks like you might have to raise your volume on your side because Andrew on YouTube is saying that he can't hear you or he has a hard time hearing you. So just double check your mic real quick.
All right.
Andrew, let us know if he's good to go. No matter what, this is a typical League of Reyes podcast. If there's no technical difficulties,
of course. If we're not trying to fix it in the middle of the podcast, what's the point?
I know, right?
Oh man, but yeah, we figured today, guys, we tried to tell you our stories on how we got into tech, the trials, tribulations we had to go through. And then we'll touch base and continue celebrating the innovators and inventors of Black History Month. And we'll throw in a couple jokes in between, have a good time. We usually do. And, troubleshooting in the process. Why not? Troubleshooting in the process. So how you wanna get this started, bro? You want me to go first or you want you to go first?
Actually, you go first for now. I would love to freaking go first, but I want to make sure the Twitterverse, the social media verse, and all you guys and girls that haven't shown up to the freaking podcast know that we're live, and we need everyone's freaking to join in, not just for the follows, but to join in on our freaking antics, join in on our craziness, and learn why. And I mean, why the League of Reyes has commenced, has begun, and the intro goes out to our angel.
All right. Well, let's see. All right. I guess I'll start in the beginning. So, never was really into tech. I don't know. I'm lying. Whoa. Let me backtrack a little bit. More. Yeah, I know. I'm already lying to you guys. I apologize. No, I've always really been into tech, especially robots. Joe knows this, specifically Gundams. Though growing up, didn't really know how to go about that route. Was taught just follow the three main career paths: doctor, lawyer, or businessman, or whatever. Never really touched any coding when I was younger. I never really saw anything where I could build or create something. Growing up as a kid or even in high school, but when I got to college, that kind of changed. Then I had the opportunity to do an engineering major, but I decided not to. One, honestly, because I had no idea. And listen, this is the best advice someone gave me: if you don't know what the fuck you're gonna do in college, don't go to college. Or take a couple years of community service. Not community service.
You cannot send them that dark rabbit hole, man. It's too early. It's too early.
Sorry. Do not. No, I didn't know what engineering really was. So when I went into school, the first thing that came to mind was, I'll do law. Like, simple. I see cops all the time where I grew up. I see lawyers and stuff like that. Like, that was a constant around me. So I was like, all right, yeah, might as well just do that, see how it goes. A few years down the road, I take a couple law classes. It comes easy. It's very natural to me, surprisingly. Never really studied for an exam.
Wonder why. Kind of law are you knowing, huh?
That's another story for another time. But yeah, went off, studied law as an undergrad. Never studied for any of the courses, never studied for any of the classes, just literally showed up. I paid attention to class, showed up, took the test, walked out with A's. Walked out with A's. I mean, when I showed up to class, I mean, the biggest thing in college was that I never showed up to class. That was the biggest thing. But when I did show up for like exams, they were like, how did you, what? Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you for the final. I'm like, yep, bye. So, my junior year, it's typically when they, now mind you, when I was in college, well, all right, let me backtrack. Mind you, when I was in college, I did have I have a few friends that were doing engineering, and they were getting into like game development and, you know, computer science and all that stuff. And it always sounded interesting to me. It's just I didn't know what it was. No one really could explain. Like Bitcoin. Like, listen, to this day, I kick myself for not investing in Bitcoin when I was in college, because that's when Bitcoin came out. Literally, Bitcoin was like $10 when I was in college. I would have been a billionaire right now, but I just didn't know what it was, and I didn't at the time. I didn't trust anyone. If you couldn't explain something to me thoroughly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't trust you. So
Sounds about right.
yeah, right. So I mean, logic. It's the only time I actually thought logically in my life. So, a couple of my friends, they were telling me what they were doing. Some of them were civil engineers. Some of them were computer science majors. Some of them, you know, were doing IT and all that stuff. And they would talk to me and explain things to me, and I'm just like, that sounds interesting, but it sounds a lot of brain power. It sounds like you have to do a lot of like thinking. I don't know if I want to do that. Only because, and no, it's only because law came so easily to me that I didn't really have to think. Like, it's just literally research. Law is literally research, just research, and, you know, just finding out the best way to get someone a defense against something, or find the best way to best strategy to attack a defendant. You know. So it wasn't until I was getting ready to take my LSATs that one of my friends, well, I guess we're still friends. I don't really see him as often as I want to anymore, but we were pretty cool in college, and he was studying computer science, and one of his projects was he was basically rebuilding Super Mario from scratch. He was literally doing it, I think he was using C, I want to say C or C++, I can't remember. But he literally brought me into his dorm room. We were hanging out one time. He was like, "Oh, here, can you do me a favor? Can you just play this for me?" I'm like, okay. So I'm there playing Super Mario. I'm like, "Oh, cool, you got the old Super Mario going. All right, cool, whatever." But I noticed it didn't run as smooth as, you know, the original. And I'm just like, "Bro, I think your cartridge is messed up." And he looks at me. He's like, "It's not a cartridge. Like, I designed that." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "What do you mean you designed this?" He's like, "Dude, I coded everything, designed the game. Like, you know, my final was to replicate something and hand it in." And he's like, "I chose Super Mario because, you know, Super Mario, I grew up with it." And I was like, I was blown away. At that point, I all I heard was the glass shattering in the background. And I was like, I've chosen the wrong career path. Like, this can't be life. And he literally just went over like basics with me, like, you know, what's a variable, for loops, arrays, all that stuff. And I'm just like, so he gave me like a simple foundation within like a 3-hour time frame. And he was like, so basically, like with the entry level education that he gave me, he was like, you could basically recreate this. Like, you don't have to go in as deep, but it'll take you a little bit longer, but you could basically do this. At that point, I was like, all right, I need to reevaluate my life. I kid you not. I dropped everything, went to my counselor, and I literally slammed my hand on the table. I was like, I want to switch. I want to switch majors. He looks at me. He was like, it's spring semester of your junior year. What do you think? What you think you could just stay here forever? I'm like, isn't that the point of college? Like, what? So you're telling me no? All right. I remember I kept nagging him. I was like, all right, how about if I change my minor? And he was like, no, you're done with your minor. Like, just finish up these classes and that's it, graduate. I looked at him. I was like, I'm gonna revisit this conversation. So finished up the semester, came back in the fall, and he's looking at me. Well, I came back prior to the fall, like maybe a week or two before the semester started. And he looking at me, and I was known as trouble to him because every time I came in, I always caused him trouble. But he couldn't tell me anything because I did well in my classes. So it's like,
Things haven't changed, ladies and gentlemen. Things haven't changed.
I plead the fifth. Now, I remember I came back senior year, 2 weeks before my fall semester started, and I just glided it. I didn't even no, yeah, I glided into the room, and as soon as I glided into the room, his receptionist, who was very sweet, kind woman, she looked at me and she was like, first she gave me a hug. She's like, "How are you?" And she's like, "What trouble did you get into now?" I'm looking at her. I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am. I am just an innocent bystander, just here to say hello." And she looks me up and down. She's like, "Yeah, sure. What is it that you want?" And with a smile, I'm like, "Is the professor in?" I'm trying to see if I could change my minor. She's looking at me. She's like, "Aren't you about to graduate?" I'm like, "So I could do a whole 18 credits. It's fine. I could bang out 18 credits real quick." She's looking at me. She looked at me, looked in the room, looked back at me, and she yells for the professor. Professor comes out and he looks at me and he was like, "I heard everything. No." I'm just like, but why? He's like, "We had this discussion last year. No, just graduate and that's it." So I'm like, fine, whatever. I'm gonna do this on my own. Went off, finished school, got a job in the government. The whole point of me getting a job in the government was just for me to find a way to just pay for law school, because law school ain't cheap and those loans are serious. And I was trying to avoid loans like I was trying to avoid the plague. But while I was in the government, I ran into a lot of people that were in IT, like they were in the IT field, and the way that they were able to just problem solve, and the way that they were able to, I ran into everyone from level 1 to like a top tier to like a vice president. I ran into for technology, and they were telling me things that I never even knew about. My first actual instance with technology, well, my second instance rather, with technology was when there was, I shouldn't probably be saying this. Long story short, there was an incident that happened. People's identities were stolen. Blah blah blah. There was a breach. People's identities were stolen in the process. Typical stuff. And within the time frame of me conversing with the team there, I learned so many things about how someone can hack your system. You don't even have to be anywhere. You could just be standing in the middle of a park, and the next thing you know, your shit gets hacked. At that point, I was like, yeah, the lights came back on. I was like, yeah, I have to get back into this. So while I was in the government, I was basically teaching myself to get the A+ certification. Ended up getting it, and then I was studying for the, what was it, Network Plus? Yeah, Network Plus. I knew for a fact I was not a network guy. I hated that shit. The minute I opened the book, I was like, nope, threw it to the side. But when I was in the government, I was trying to look for jobs in IT, because some of my co-workers actually ended up leaving the field and actually joining the tech team. So I was like, okay, there's opportunities for me to do it. Let me just see if I can do it. It wasn't as smooth as a transition as I would want, but it eventually happened. Basically, I had to take a leap of faith, leave the government role, and just solely focus on technology. And I focused on it for anywhere between 5 to 7 months that I was like focused, like completely focused on it. And within that time frame, I was also teaching myself how to do web development. I learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I am not a fan of JavaScript. I don't like it at all. Like, but I did learn C++ in the process, and I became a fan of C++. Only thing is that within the time frame, some of the concepts were a little too complex for me, where I needed someone with experience to explain. So I did take up a course in that time frame just to get a better understanding of it, and I did understand it. Then I got introduced to Python, and Python, oh Python. It's a love-hate relationship with it. But
It's like every coding language.
yes, yes. But this one, I loved it from the jump, and then I realized I was like, oh, you just like to tempt me. Just like to tempt me and treat me like I'm just a side piece. Got you. So eventually, throughout the time frame, I got a job. I got my first IT job working in a warehouse. It was literally just I wouldn't say it was a data warehouse. It was what do they call the things where it wasn't an e-waste company. It was, I guess you could say it was an e-waste company. It was just literally destroying desktops, laptops, destroying the actual storage that was in those systems and then repurposing them. I did that gig for about 10 months, and then I met one of our old co-workers there. Cool guy, cool Filipino dude. He knew his stuff, and he himself, I told him flat out from the jump, I was like, dude, you're way overqualified for this role. Like, you're way overqualified. Why are you here? Lo and behold, he ended up getting a job at MSK, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And about 2 months after he got hired, he was able to get me in there. And I started on the projects team with Joe. That's when he and I met. And that's when I realized that
Hello, motherfucker.
I think it was, what was it? I think we were putting together carts or something. Like the one time that it was just me and you. And like within that short time frame, I was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna sit here in silence. Like, I'm gonna make a conversation. Like, we're there listening to what is it, Journey and shit." And I'm like, "All right, we're not just gonna sit here and listen to Journey. Like, we're gonna have a whole conversation." So I started just asking him random questions, and then we just started talking, and that's when the infamous first butthurt Susie showed up. And I stayed in MSK for wait, do you remember how long it was? Like a year? No, it was less than a year. It was like
well, yeah, it was short of a year, I think. Oh, actually, no, you were there a little longer than a year. It was a little over than a year. It was before the second. It was before the second Christmas party.
Yeah. I ended up leaving around COVID, when COVID really hit.
Hold on. You got freaking Wonder Woman over here. It's like, the bromance began. Yes, woman, the bromance did begin.
Don't hate.
The bromance did begin. Don't get mad. Don't get mad.
Oh.
But yes, and to what she was saying, freaking Journey does rock. Yep. Any 80s, 80s rock bands, or I should say hair bands, were the best. It's hilarious. And the fact that some of those guys influence a lot of the next generation of like alternative rock and things like that was hilarious. But hair bands, come on, they had to have influenced, one, Prince, and two, the So Glow freaking infomercial. Now, if you guys don't understand, I know, right? Now, if you guys don't understand the So Glow infomercial, that means you most likely haven't seen the movie Coming to America. And I mean the first one, not the second one, because the second one doesn't have much of the So Glow infomercials in there. The first one, woo! The first one, you got the So Glow up in there. That was always awesome.
Oh, that was the greatest. That was not for nothing. That was the greatest marketing scheme. And if that sucker was real, everybody was ready to hit the stores to get So Glow.
Everyone would have had Jerry curls going everywhere.
Jerry curl juice everywhere. Just.
No, go ahead. Go on. Finish what you're continuing on. Before the second Christmas party of MSK, you left on good terms, but you wanted to leave because you wanted to do better things.
Yeah. So actually, throughout the time that I was starting MSK, I actually joined a boot camp for web development. Though I couldn't finish the boot camp unfortunately because my schedule got way too crazy. And I was sleeping like 3 hours a day. It got to the point where she was looking at me like, "Why are you always tired?" I'm like, "Just leave me alone." Like, just leave me alone. Like, yo, you just got here. What are you talking about?
It's all them hoes, man. You couldn't put them hoes to the side. That's what it is.
Listen, we don't talk about them. All right, we don't talk about them. All right, they were companions during a hard time.
Oh man.
But yeah. So I was in MSK for about a year or so. I got moved from the projects team to like a regional tech, and in the process, I got to go to, I guess you could say it's let me get this right. It's Northern Jersey. I got to go to Northern Jersey where I met one of the smarter engineers. I know you have Almir, who was probably like the smartest one there. But I think the second smartest one I was trained by Caesar. He was a good guy. And ironically, when I got to him, he was working on like this app or project or something where he was using Vue.js. And I looked at it, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Let me in."
I'm surprised you wanted to join in since you have this extreme hate for JavaScript.
I know, but when I see code, I get excited. When I see code, I get excited. I don't know why. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Or like when I used to get those Super Nintendo. It was Super Nintendo and N64 games. For some reason, I guess the casing, the packaging in itself used to make me excited. So whenever I saw a Nintendo game, I was like, "Holy shit!" But yeah, I remember after that, I was like, "All right, this is what I got to do," because it keeps coming, it keeps revolving. It's like a ever revolving door. Like it keeps rearing its ugly head. I gotta jump into it and just do it. So I decided. So after I left MSK, I went to a different hospital. Went to Hackensack Meridian right here in Hackensack, New Jersey, and they were trying, they didn't know what to do with me, so they just literally sat me in the back 99% of the time. And during that time, I started teaching myself how to code. I started teaching myself how to do Python. I was bouncing between Python and C++. I kind of didn't see myself doing web development, only because I thought the time had come and gone for web development. Apps, yes, but I guess that kind of falls in the same realm. So I want to do something else. And when I was there, I actually ran into a guy by the name of Andres, who he was a former Navy vet, but this guy was so sarcastic about everything. But he and I got along because of his sarcasm. I would call him names, he'd call me names, and I'm just like, "Yeah, we're gonna be friends. Don't worry about it." He knew PowerShell. And he created a PowerShell script, and I was like, "I bet you I could do a better script in Python." And he looked at me, he was like, "Shut up." I remember he looked at me and he was like, "Silence the scum of the earth." He verbatim, he said, "Silence, you scum of the earth." And I told him, and I forgot what I told him. I forgot what I told him, but I made a better Python script, and he looked at me, he's like, I hate you with a passion." So I knew at that time, I was like, "All right, I can do this. It just takes some time. I need to sit down and actually study it." Same thing that happened at MSK happened at Hackensack. I just lost. I just got too busy where I couldn't focus on what I had to do, and I had to put it in the back burner. I was in MSK for, I want to say 10, 11 months. I mean, sorry, not MSK, Hackensack. For 10, 11 months, maybe less. I want to say less. And then I went to FanDuel, and FanDuel opened my eyes to a whole new generation of thinking. I got to interact with great guys there. I got my first taste of like real life, real time automation that goes into production and all that crap. It was, the guys that work there are amazing, and they're smart. They're incredibly smart and talented individuals. And from the minute I got there, they were like, we just got along. We just got along. And they were like, "Yo, stick with us, kid. We'll get you far." And that's where I'm at now. I mean, Joe knows this. Well, I'm no longer there, but Joe knows this now. My next step is to jump into data engineering. Yes, yes, yes. It's because of Joe I did it because I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do. I'm gonna
And
jump
fucking Molly, you listen to me.
hey, I listen. It just takes me a couple tries. um, I'm jumping into a data engineering course. I'm gonna do that. Focus more on Python. C++ will come rearing its ugly head again, but that's for a different project and something else that I want to work on down the road. But Joe, I think it was Joe that graciously told me. I think it was you, or maybe I found it on my own. I don't know. Pinecone. When I told you, remember? No, was it you that told me to?
I think I did tell you about it. I just don't remember much. I saw it. I was like, oh, you might like this. And
yeah, Pinecone is this. It's a new framework for Python that it's basically React JS, but in Python version. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to try it. Because if I could do everything in Python language, it's gonna, for me, I think it's a game changer. That plus all the other stuff that came out. So, I'm gonna see what happens. Start the course pretty soon, and hopefully it leads to bigger and better things. But
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is my journey in less than 30 minutes. There you go. Time me. I'm good.
I know, right? Actually, yeah, you're all right. I was the one that did find out about Pinecone for you because we had a podcast episode on Chat GPT, and I found out Pinecone can use Chat GPT to create a whole bunch of other stuff, and then we started going on another tangent on Chat GPT and everything. So yeah.
Listen, I love that sucker, man. It saves so much time.
Oh man, it's called laziness, man. It's called laziness.
But the lazier you are as an engineer, the better, the more productive you are.
Yeah, but sooner or later it's gonna end up with you not knowing, or the people that run it not knowing how to properly write code. They're just gonna go on to freaking think of it as a translator. Instead of learning a language like Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, anything that you want to use on a normal basis, you use a translator, and all you're doing is talking your regular language that you used to. Even if it's freaking Ebonics, it's still going to translate for you into the other language. And now, lo and behold, you don't have to worry about learning a new language. So that's what ChatGPT is. What I think is going to end up being a downfall on a lot of programmers, a lot of people that want to rely solely on AI and not have the mindset to understand what AI can do, how to prevent AI from doing things that it can learn to do, and troubleshooting everything properly. Because you have to know the basics of everything. But like I said when we did the episode, ChatGPT is going to be great for like kids in elementary school, kids in freaking high school, on having them learn how to properly code or understand. Even if you tell the program what you want, you can see how it's written out, how it's scripted out, and from there, if you can pivot from what the script or what the AI created and not create but add additional intermediate or advanced level freaking variables, parameters, things like that, then ChatGPT can be your lifesaver. Because what if you run into a situation like me, and I'll explain what I'm going to be talking about in my intro, is going from understanding C++ and Java programming language to, oh, guess what? We don't use this. We only use Python, and Python is totally separate, simple, and like what I just realized is the Starbucks of programming languages.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Python is the Starbucks of programming languages. Java is the freaking Krispy Kreme of freaking programming languages. And C++ is the freaking Dunkin' Donuts of freaking programming languages. Just saying, like you learn from the basics, and then everything's like, oh yeah, here's a new little added flavor, papam, and more, papam.
Sprinkle some crack over here.
I
Sprinkle some
know.
over here.
But with to go back on the Chat GPT, it's if you understand the basics or you learn the basics from Chat GPT, then learning the rest of coding, learning the rest of the programming languages will be a lot simpler, a lot easier to understand.
Oh, my bad, Andrew. All right, wait. Dunkin' Donuts is off the table. All right, leave the Dunkin' off the table.
It's all right, Andrew. It's all right. I still freaking love freaking Dunkin' Donuts, no matter what. Even though Krispy Kreme has their good donuts, but I always go back to Dunkin' no matter what. That's my crack. That's what I freaking grew up on. So
You know, I still gotta test out that whole if the red light is on, you get free donuts. I gotta test that theory out. Is that actually true?
I have no idea. I feel like that's some crazy shit.
I'm gonna have to...
Fighting words.
I'm about to test that theory out. It's all right. Listen, you, me, and wifey, we'll bring the little one too. Put her on some Krispy Kreme.
Yep. See, but the best one is going to like the actual Krispy Kreme shops. I know they have a few. They have two in the city, but man, those things are always so packed with people. So
it's like that Cronut, right? Weren't they open for like 4 hours a day, and people were lined up like 2 blocks away just to get a Cronut?
Yep, and then everything was sold out.
I don't. What's the point? Like,
it's crack. Look at Starbucks. You get freaking lines around the corner in the mornings. Trust me, I know. I used to work there. It's just crack.
Yeah, you guys are listen. That's legal. That's legalized. You guys are legalized drug dealers. That's all it is.
Right? It's like freaking heroin and freaking in a cocoa bean. Oh man. So to go on and to not get on a tangent about everything else, to continue on the introduction that has been way past due for you guys on learning about us, knowing who we are, and why we created League of Reyes podcast in itself. How far back did you start?
The dinosaur ages. No,
Oh, jeez.
no. I went through. I guess you could say college.
I think you went before college.
Oh yeah. I mean, where my love started was with video games. I mean, I was
yeah.
able to make a video game. I'm mad as hell that it took Nintendo fucking 30 years. Sorry for the cursing. Took Nintendo 30 years to make an open world freaking Pokemon game. I had that idea when I was at 10. I was like, why did it take you guys forever to do this? But anyways, that's another tangent.
Well, that's because they didn't have the the supply and demand for it. They already had video games like Mario, freaking Mario World. They even had introduced, or not even, I shouldn't even say introduced. They even have Final Fantasy games. Even though those are still kind of open world type of concepts, there's still a limitation for those worlds. Now because you got games like GTA 5, freaking what are these few other ones that Cyberpunk freaking Live. Really? What? Wait, I missed it. Somebody said something bad about Duncan. Wonder Woman, pay attention. You missed a lot. Hey, Andrew, don't say it. Don't say it.
We don't discriminate on donuts. We don't discriminate when it comes to donuts. Coffee, yes, but
oh man. No, Wonder Woman. What I was doing was explaining how certain programming languages that we're learning, i.e., one of the loves of Arranger was what was it? Was Python? Wait, I'm over here taking care of a newborn. Give me give me a break. Hey, listen, woman, listen. Newborn needs to be watching this. Anyways, newborn needs to be watching
Put
it.
her on. Put her on. Put her onto some game.
She needs to be subscribed and lurking and liking every damn episode.
Yes, you know what? The first thing you should have done was create a YouTube channel for her, all right?
I know, right? No, so what I was saying is like programming languages like Python, everyone loves Python and everyone is like, oh, you can do so much great things with Python. Um, you can do this, you can do that, and it's so much easier to learn, blah, 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 blah. So I call it the Starbucks of programming languages because everyone wants a freaking case of it, everyone wants a piece of it, and they just know that it's easier for them and they'll shove it out the money. They'll be like, Python, yes, Python. And then the other programming languages that are out there, there are more out there, but the ones I know verbatim is Java and C++. Java is a step down. I shouldn't say a step down. It's a in between of C++ and Python. They have all the same concepts. Java is a lot easier to understand and write out than C++,
I don't
but
know
it's
about
not.
that, man.
It is. Trust me. Trust me. It is. But the problem is Python uses less writing structure. So think of programming languages as a grammar class where C++ is your strict ass freaking Catholic nun grammar teacher,
With the
where
ruler
she
ready to
wants you
smack
to
your
write
damn hand.
freaking 6 to 8 pages of freaking essays. Java is more of the high school going into college type essays where it's like, oh yeah, here's this, here's that. And then Python, I would love to say Python is the college level, but more Python is like the kindergarten level of grammar where you just need to know point A to point B. It's like, here's a structured sentence. Ta-da, you created a program. So
That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, that's actually the best way to explain it. Like you're literally writing whole sentences and
yeah. So like I was saying, I called Python the Starbucks of programming, Java the Krispy Kreme of programming, and then the C++ as the Dunkin' Donuts of programming because Dunkin' Donuts is the cheapest thing to learn, cheapest thing to buy, just like C++, but not everyone loves it. Not everyone cares about it. Everyone wants to diss on it as if that's not like the backbone of every freaking coffee industry. So that's what I was saying. Now you caught up.
the more you know. Damn, I gotta get that. I gotta get that.
Yeah, you gotta get that as like a transition. The more you know.
The more you know. It's in the works, I promise. It's in the works.
It's all right. It's all right, Wonder Woman, that you don't understand the tech stuff. That's what we're here for. That is one of the main reasons why we're here. Yep. And Andrew says that's why Duncan is the best. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's
Depending,
affordable. It's recession proof.
depending where you get it. I can't say all Dunkins is the best because there's been a lot of times where I've gotten Dunkin' where it's like 6, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're trying to sell freaking yesterday's stale donuts to me. So it depends. It depends. It's everyone's signature flavor depending on what they want. But to go back onto our, or I should say, my introductions, because our Angel finished his introductions on how he became the Otacon himself.
Yes, I'm still typing as we speak.
I know, right? So for me, guys, it really started off in an intro for me is I started when I was a kid. And the only reason why I say I started off as a kid when I was a kid is because my parents, only my mom was a high school graduate. My dad was a high school dropout. And anytime I had homework. It didn't matter what type of homework. Anything that was above that type of high school level, they weren't understanding. Especially when it came to science and math. Oh my god. I was at first I was struggling, but later on I started picking up some things and it started growing on me and I understood more of the educational level and how I needed to know and learn things on my own because no one else around me was hence not smart enough to freaking to let me know or to tutor me on that situation or that subject I should say. Hold on. What are you guys talking about? Well, why are you making Duncan the cheap
Well,
what?
no, Duncan's not
W
cheap. Duncan
of
is
the screen?
recession proof. There's a difference.
When I meant cheap, I meant more of it's easy to get to. It's easy access. Everyone's gonna be able to get to a Dunkin', unlike a Krispy Kreme where it's hard to find, and Starbucks. If you're not in certain areas, you're not gonna have a Starbucks near you. Can't say the whole word because Ah, it's all right. It's all right. We understand. We understand you. We understand you. But yes, Duncan is the best. Is is the best of all three for the simple fact that one is cheap, two, you don't have to go out of your way to freaking find the best tasting donuts or a variety of donuts. And same thing with coffee. So before Starbucks even had their what is it? Their frappuccinos, freaking Dunkin' already had their fucking what was it? Fraps? No, it wasn't called fraps.
Macchiatos?
No. It's the iced coffees, like the vanilla bean
Uh,
coffees and drinks like that.
you can tell
I
I
forgot
don't
what
drink
the hell
coffee,
they're
bro.
actually called. But to go back to what I was talking about, so as a kid, I've learned how to repair a lot of things because uh, I didn't grow up in a richy family, and a lot of times, a lot of shit we get or we had passed down to us was kind of broken down, or just things just break over time because of shitty wiring. So what I was surprised that I really didn't get into is like electrical engineering for the simple fact that I was able to fix any wiring, fix TVs, fix radios, and I didn't even hit puberty yet. And I enjoyed those things, but it wasn't something like, oh yay, until it came to freaking video games like the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. Then it was, oh, I need to get this damn box fixed because I need to play this damn game. Like, no, no, we're not playing that. Like, no. So I was part of the generation of having the damn cartridge and having to blow down the bottom of the cartridge or using a rubbing alcohol on the coils of the cartridge to make sure it's clean and is able to be read. But if you had a Nintendo NES that didn't want to work properly or didn't want to, how should I say, have the game play consistently, I was one of the ones that would put another cartridge right on top, make sure it was nice and leveled, and always get the damn game going.
Oh, you were one of those. For those of you that don't understand, get yourself a Nintendo. We're not explaining this. It brings back horrible memories.
uh, should I explain it more? Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Okay. Here we go. So while he gets that, there used to be many tricks when it came to Nintendos, especially with cartridges. It was a love hate. Like I said, it was a love hate relationship between these things, and it went on for years and years until they decided to turn cartridges into disc. And even then, there was a love hate relationship there.
Yes, my treasure. Yes. All right, I'm back.
It's all
Okay,
good.
so
I was explaining the torture. Well, not really the torture, but the relationship that we used to have between cartridges as opposed to disc.
Oh, the cartridges. Hold on, let me see if I can get this in. There we go.
Is that?
Yeah.
No, wait, pull it back, pull it back.
Oh, too far. Hold on. Maybe I need to have my hand behind it so I can read.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
You got that this weekend, didn't you?
Oh no, I've been having this. I just left the sticker price on there. I didn't care. So if you guys don't realize what this is an old 8-bit NES game called Bad Dudes. But if you don't know this one, if you're a true gamer, you should freaking know this one.
You have the original?
Yes.
Damn it.
It actually took me some time to find this. I think the missus was with me when I bought this at Comic-Con, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's why you bought it at Comic-Con. So you probably, that was probably the last one too.
Yeah, it was. So you guys see the cartridges. Actually, I'm gonna use the Zelda one. So with this cartridge,
It's shiny. It's pretty.
back in the day, you had to worry about cleaning the bottom side, as I use my pinky. So either you blew on it, or you use freaking a Q-tip and damn alcohol to wipe the coils that's on the inside. And then lo and behold, guess what I have?
Oh,
In order to
the
show
Holy
you
Grail.
guys everything and the understanding, this is the old NES system. Obviously, when you put in a damn card in, actually, I'm gonna use this one. I'll make sure you can see.
Pull it back a little bit, maybe.
Come on. Come on now. Yeah, you gotta hate these freaking digital backgrounds. All right, hold on. Let's fix this damn digital background because you're annoying me. All right. There we go. So you guys see I have a freaking green screen. Don't worry about that. So now you guys can actually tell what I'm looking at. Oh, going too far. Once you put in the cartridge, you press down, the game should go on. But sometimes you'll see this button flashing and everything. It's like it's still going in and out, not having a proper connection. So sometimes you'll do different tricks. You'll be one like me, one of those guys who are freaking just get it in there just enough and it'll turn on. Or if you're like me, you'll have to be the guy that
Put the game on top of the game.
one game on top of the other one just to have the proper connection. Like so. And then you game on.
I hated it.
Don't knock on the game. Don't knock on the game, right?
Listen, it was a different time. You guys had to be there. It was hard times. Hard times.
Yep, definitely hard times. But as you guys can see, I still have my freaking retro systems. The only one that I'm missing from my childhood is a Sega Genesis. But now you guys can actually see this properly without any issues.
So pretty.
Yes, yes.
Pretty.
This is the actual original game. And yes, yes.
And
If
most
you
of
have fun playing freaking old school Ninja Turtle games or Double Dragon,
I am a huge Ninja Turtle fan, and you know this. But to this
Yeah.
day,
game.
I
Yep.
still think those games are better than some of the games today.
I know, right? At least the storyline is
Mm-hmm.
compared to some of the janky stuff that they have nowadays.
Yeah.
So crazy. All right. Back to the green screen or digital background. So with certain games and certain systems, I learned different ways on how to fix those systems or how to fix those games. And it was just second nature to me. My father would freaking bring me out to anything. Oh, V is in the house. Howdy, young sir. Howdy, howdy. What's going on? What's up, V? what was that? So my father would freaking bring me out to pretty much anyone, the family, friends, or whatever. Like, oh yeah, my son can fix this. Yeah, take this, take this.
Mm.
Understanding, and the missus knows this. I think my missus knows this so much that she knows to leave me the hell alone. If you give me something to freaking fix or do, I'm not gonna stop until it's fixed or until I know what the hell the issue is. And it's just been, how should I say? It's just been something in my character, something in my trait that has been inbred in my freaking everyday life since I was a child. So going to school and everything, I didn't have the luxury of having like the latest technology, freaking a computer. I barely even was able to use a computer in friggin' high school. Not even high school, in school in general, until I got to high school. And that's just how it was back then. And I'm not telling you motherfuckers how old I am, man.
Listen, we're on the same boat, bro. Because I didn't. The only time I ever saw a computer was in school.
And the first time I seen a computer in school was, man, what class was that? That was like maybe in fourth grade, and I only used it once. The next time I seen a computer was in a library.
Yeah,
That's how it was for me. So, and lo and behold, movies came out. And if you guys know old school like 90s, 2000 movies, they had the best trailers that would catch you off guard just because like, oh snap, that looks awesome. Like you can watch it now, it looks corny as freaking hell. Corny as
was
hell.
dope back then, though.
But they went all out with the theatrics on those trailers. Unlike the trailers nowadays where they pretty much tell you half the freaking movie already or the whole movie, because movies nowadays are like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, unless they're part of a trilogy or part of the family.
Damn, he called you out, bro.
I know,
He
right?
called you out.
And freaking what is it? The trailers nowadays pretty much tell you the whole movie, so why even bother going to the movies to go see the damn movie if you already know what happens? Might as well just wait till it comes out on freaking. I can't even say it comes out on DVD because half the time
No, just
it
go straight
comes
to
out on streaming service before it comes out on DVD.
Bro, you have no idea how mad I was that Wakanda Forever showed up a month after we went to go see it.
Yep.
I was like, what type of bullshit is this? But anyways.
Yep. Hey, I'll still watch it. It don't matter.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, still a movie, still a good movie.
Yep.
I agree. The '90s were the best.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I still wish we were in the 90s, man. And be quiet, Andrew. Be quiet. But because of certain movies, like take for instance, movies like Hackers, movies like that showed you what computers can do, or what a person can do behind a computer, was so freaking awesome. And mind you, I still have that movie Hackers. I watch it freaking here and there just because it's a I say it's a movie that no matter what I can fall asleep to. I can continue hearing it and listening to it in the background because that movie never gets old to me. Even though how like I said, the theatrics of hacking is not that elaborate, obviously. If you have a background in, how should I say, in red team or blue team testing and information security, you understand the movie Hackers, even the movie freaking Swordfish. That type of theatrics is not is not true, even though you wish it was true. Um, the one that was close to it,
Mr.
even
Robot.
though they don't show much, Well, the one that's perfect to it is Mr. Robot, the TV show.
Mhm.
But movie wise, is Matrix.
You mean what we're in right now? That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Let me know. Let me know.
No, well, Matrix when you had like Tank and Doza
Mm.
in the background, or I should say, out of the Matrix, and freaking jabbing in front of a whole bunch of screens and everything.
Mm.
You got that. You got what was the other movie I was just thinking about? Ah, I just had it in the back of my head. Oh, the movie is called The Net, and that was starring Sandra Bullock. Man, she was so freaking hot back then. Well,
She
she's
still
still
is. What are you
hot.
talking
I know.
about?
She was so hot and innocent back then. It's like, damn. But she was a application, let's say, an application analyst. So
I
that's
remember
where
that movie now. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. I remember
yeah.
it now. It was really good. Sorry, go ahead.
They
My
didn't,
bad.
they didn't go much in depth, but at the same time, they showed you like the back, the old school freaking chat rooms. Unlike what we have now, Facebook and Twitter and things like that, that actually had no shit chat rooms where people freaking shoot shit about whatever it is, whether it's um, video games, books. Shit. I can keep going on with all the categories, and shit, even nowadays it goes into like the black market. Um, how should I say the black market business because they still use those type of chat rooms to communicate with each other, things like that. But yeah, I do have to agree with Andrew. Mr. Robot was underrated, but is an awesome, and I mean a fucking awesome TV show, depicting not only of hacking, information security, but also on on the conspiracies of business, on how a lot of high end businesses do things in the background, and how they love freaking firing people, this, that, and the other thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yahoo was the chat room I had on my laptop. Yeah, you had Yahoo, you had freaking AOL as one of the freaking uh and then they upgraded to MySpace, and MySpace obviously upgraded to Facebook and all these other social media
Never,
platforms.
never forget me, gente.
Huh?
Never forget me, gente.
Oh man. Yeah, and there was actually a few chat rooms on like nothing but anime.
Oh yeah. I wasn't a big
And
chat room guy though, man. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't. But the few times that I was on there, I was like, well, okay, wow. I dove in, and I was like, all right, this is a problem. Let me not do this anymore.
Mhm. But it shows you a lot of the freaking like movies. Like I said, movies like Hackers, The Net, Swordfish. Those were inspirations for me while I was in high school, because I went to high school. I went to a vocational high school to become an artist, to become a like a. Actually, originally I wanted to become a freaking graphic designer, more of a comic book artist, but my school, for some strange reason, not this episode, not this episode,
Maybe
B.
the next one. Maybe the next episode.
But we'll talk, especially
Wait.
because I got to get this freaking dude
Hold on.
updated on certain freaking animes. But
Listen. I am catching up. I promise I'm catching up. I just gave up on One Piece a long time ago, but Chainsaw Man I've seen. I haven't seen My Hero Academia, but I'm catching up.
come on, man, we're already on season 6. You know what? You know what?
I,
Like I said, next episode. Next episode, I'm not gonna.
you're giving
We're
me
gonna go on
7
a
days.
tangent real quick.
You're giving me 7 days. What is it? The Ring?
Oh
uh,
man, but yeah, those movies inspired me on wanting to get more into one, video game design, and two, into computers and building computers. I did learn how to build computers back in the day, but it wasn't as in depth as what I know now. So back in the day, you had the big old block freaking computers, um, still using freaking, was it 4.5 or 5-inch freaking floppy disks, things like that. That's how do you know freaking I know these damn computers from a long time ago.
Wow,
um,
floppy.
mhm. But at the same time, yep, he is sleeping on it. He is sleeping on it, V.
I
He
know.
is.
My bad. My bad. Don't worry. I'll catch up. I promise.
um, what was it? Yeah. So high school, high school fucked me up. The reason why I say high school fucked me up is because I went into that school solely for um comic book art design, graphic artists, and all that. But each semester they kept switching, switching my freaking my degree. I shouldn't say degree. My major, because it was a vocational school. You had majors in the high school, so I kept on going from art and design major to photography, digital photography major, and back and forth each semester, back and forth, back and forth. So nothing was consistent except for anything that dealt with digital, like programming, digital freaking science, a whole bunch of craziness. But lo and behold, high school wasn't my favorite freaking time. Um, After high school, or I should say during high school, I was just goofing off. I really didn't care. I would play around with computers and do art on the side, like drawing comic books, drawing freaking anime characters, this, that, and the other thing. So from there, because I didn't really learn much in high school, I did get accepted out of high school to a tech school. Tech school now called DeVry. Was it DeVry University?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then it was DeVry Institute, and I already had freaking classes set up, this, that, and the other thing, but I didn't want to burden or worry about my parents complaining about freaking college. So instead of going to college, lo and behold, I went behind my parents' back, got them to sign some documents, and I joined the Marine Corps right after that.
Typical Joe fashion.
So I already had my paperwork, all the documents signed when I was 17 to go into the Marine Corps. But like I said, high school wasn't my best time, and I had to repeat a few classes. And I took my time taking freaking replacing or doing those damn classes. Andrew, shut your face, because you know you're a damn diehard devil dog. Oh man, Semper Gumby, Andrew, Semper Gumby. So joined the Marine Corps. Obviously, this was right after high school. Joined the Marine Corps. Stayed in the Marine Corps for 11 years. Um, Within the Marine Corps, I didn't do anything really tech related unless it would pertain to my job, and that's mainly tech on. How should I say? Doing reconnaissance. Um, yeah, Andrew. That's why you can't say that shit. um, yeah. So it was like doing reconnaissance, surveillance. Um, because my background was all infantry, it was all that intel gathering or intel analysis, and that was mainly what my technology background was going into or led me into. Even though I still had a love and a passion for computers and programming, I didn't have any friends or mentors that understood where to freaking go. No, I wasn't a Ricky Recon. I was part of MARSOC. Well, I was part of the initial. How should I say? I was part of the initial programming for MARSOC. So MARSOC is the Marine Corps Special Operations Command, and I went from an infantry unit into a specialized unit for training foreign militaries to let's take for instance, we had guys go to Russia, Dominican Republic. Actually, my team that I was attached to was they already did 3 tours to Colombia. We went to Dominican Republic, and I think they were supposed to go to either Venezuela or another South. Oh no, I think it was Guatemala that they were supposed to go to, but I didn't go on those deployments, unfortunately. Um, during that time when I was part of that unit, I was bouncing around like, uh, think of MARSOC as like Rangers or Green Berets, where you have to go to certain schools to get your background in. So I went through light infantry, jungle warfare schools, demolition schools, a whole bunch of crazy Call of Duty schools. I'll just put it that way. I was extremely proficient in those. Those were my bread and butter, and I fucking love that shit. I still love that crazy shit. I just can't do a lot of that stuff just because I don't have the security clearance like I had back then. Just because I just don't have a security clearance, and two, I can't buy because being a civilian, you cannot buy any type of ammunition or um you can't practice any demolition or things like that. Anything that you taught back in the day. But I can still practice shooting, doing gun drills, everything that makes you an operator or Call of Duty specialist kind of deal. So a lot of that stuff I actually did in real life. And after that unit, I went into another line unit and deployed a couple more times. Um, every single deployment, I did see action. Um, and from that action, it was just an off and ongoing thing. Lucky enough, even though I spent 11 years in the Marine Corps, I only got to do 4 deployments, and that was my luck because with that much time in, I should have been on my 8th or 9th deployment by the time I got out. So from there, I got out of the Marine Corps. Came back to the East Coast. Unfortunately, I should have stayed my happy ass back in Hawaii. That's what I was last stationed at, and I would have enjoyed my time being a beach bum. I could still dream about it this day.
It's okay.
Just being a
Listen, bro. Listen, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get you there eventually.
Oh no! I'm talking about just being a beach bum. I already had my itinerary set up for that because of a situation I was in. I was already ready to be a beach bum, to live in a freaking van, uh, park at a beach every day, or a different beach every day, cooking, freaking grilling all the time because the weather was always nice, and if it wasn't, you can always grill underground under what is it, the mall, freaking parking lots and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I knew where to go, and all I needed was a bathroom, and the bathroom I would have went to was 24-hour fitness. They had the cheap payment plans. So I just go there, go shit, shower, shave, freaking get my workout in, get back in my van, go back to the beach, and start tanning for the rest of the day. But that was my backup plan that I was ready to go with. Shit, I can still do that now, but at the same time, like I said, like we talked about in the beginning, I cannot do that now because I have extra responsibilities.
You got some responsibilities, bro. Some obligations, you know.
I know, right? So after coming back out here from Hawaii, coming to the East Coast, I didn't go directly to college. I was bouncing around job to job, doing a whole bunch of security jobs. Even went private security, did a few jobs there, came back, and then I decided to go to school. I decided to go back to DeVry it started off good to a certain extent. The Vry tried to pound so much knowledge into people's brains. They try to compact a 16-week school grade course, or I should say, schedule plan into like a month or maybe a month and a half.
Damn.
And it wasn't enough. Like I got all the training under CCNA, C++ programming, things like that, but it just wasn't enough to keep the knowledge stuck in my brain. So, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately. Luckily enough, I found another job that actually helped me transfer to another freaking college. I shouldn't say another freaking college. It helped me transfer from DeVry to Fordham University. Fordham University actually gave me the baseline, the stepping stone from learning everything in cybersecurity, everything in programming, and and understanding all that, as well as giving me the chance to earn a college degree at the time, which helped benefit me to get into courses that let me get my, or I shouldn't say, gave me the knowledge for CompTIA, A plus, Network plus, and CCNA all over again, because it actually gave me the baseline and the the instilled knowledge that I didn't really receive, or I did receive, but it wasn't concrete from DeVry. And from there, while I was in Fordham University going to college, I applied to MSK, the cancer hospital we were just talking about earlier, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Hospital. And from there, my knowledge just kept growing, and I just didn't want to stop at doing just projects teams, doing breaking down and putting back up computers or desktops, just because it became monotonous. It just got stale for me, because I was learning all this knowledge from college, and I wasn't able to input that. So a lot of times after hours, if I wasn't in school, I would be doing a whole bunch of craziness on my computers, freaking practicing Linux, practicing PowerShell, practicing coding just in general with C++, and then later on Java. All the Java programming, making different programs, different applications that are useful to, how should I say, are useful to freaking keep the knowledge stayed or embedded in the back of my head to become more muscle memory than just losing that knowledge, or losing the information that is needed for follow-on jobs. So after, even though I was at MSK, um, my manager understood that after college, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do other things. I wanted to see if I can laterally move to a position in the hospital to implore or employ my knowledge, my background that I had, that I just graduated with. Unfortunately, MSK couldn't come back enough, or couldn't come back fast enough for me to leave to another job that, even though one job paid more than the other, I took the ability to continue on my knowledge, continue on the process, or I should say the guiding steps to further on my career. Unfortunately, being a desktop support engineer, you can only do so much without everything being, like I said, so monotonous. Just things just going back and forth, doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, I broke this. Oh, this application doesn't work on my computer. Oh, why isn't the upgrade working on this computer? It's like that job made me understand the TV show IT Crowd so fucking much that now I just use all those like the memes from that IT Crowd on every job that I do, whether it's with freaking being a desktop engineer to what I do now as a software product analyst and shit, even to my night job. So obviously, you guys understand that was always working. I was always either working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or working and then going to school. Now, like I said, I didn't stay with MSK. I moved on to another company, another finance tech company, which is my day job. And I'm a software product analyst where the product or the application that we use that we forward or push out to clients, we are the ones in charge of finding out any issues, or if the client has any issues with the application, we try to let the development team know what it is, what needs to be fixed, and they let us know how we can fix it or when can it be fixed, and we will have to be the ones to test it out. So that's what I do on a day job. Night job. Because I could not give up um this opportunity for the night job because my background or what I've always wanted to get into was cybersecurity, information security, and as well as wanting to be getting closer to that hacker freaking uh cybersecurity officer type of mindset. That's how I geared my college degree in, just because college will give you free reins on taking college classes. Oh, you can take this class to fill this quota. You can take that class to fill this quota. So instead of taking random classes, I always took certain classes that fit into the bill of what I wanted to have as a career. So with my day job, doing more of server maintenance, application maintenance, understanding Linux and SQL database, querying, as well as understanding the database itself. That helps part of my career. The second part is my night job, where I am a cybersecurity intern for a company where currently right now I am doing automation scripting. So I'm currently right now I'm creating automation scripts to case in point to make it easier for users for the information security team or the department to use certain scripts to find out information, i.e., like if they need to find out where an where an alert came from, what triggered the alert, um, if the alert is a positive alert, what devices are, how should I say, what devices are, how should I say that? What devices are affected and how we can remedy those devices. So that's part of my night job, as well as ensuring there are no alerts and things like that. So I get further experience into that cybersecurity world and understanding how businesses do things on an informational security standpoint. Now that's a lot to take in for my background. Obviously, jumping from hey, I can fix shit when I was a kid. I could draw. I like to shoot shit up and freaking blow things up. To, hey, guess what? I'm not part of the geek squad, but I can fix your computer. So, case in point, that is my introduction of from how I started to how I am now on a career standpoint and my tech background. So, obviously, you guys now understand I do automation programming with cybersecurity intentions, as well as having a background of not only cybersecurity and pen testing um, applications and tools, but also using Linux OSs, Windows, Mac OS, computers, servers. What else? Oh, SQL database, information servers. And I do have a lot as my background. And in all honesty, I actually enjoy the shit out of all this. Um, Sometimes it does get boring. It gets boring to sit on your ass a lot of times, but that's what the gun range is for me. So I go to the gun range when I can, if I'm not freaking too stuck on doing anything else, or join with the rest of you guys on streams, shoot shit with a lot of you guys on your streams, or playing video games half the time. So hopefully, with the new addition to the family, she will now, well, she will know all the knowledge I have, as well as the better understanding and me helping guide her in the right direction on not doing the stupid shit that I did, not trying to, oh well, I could think I could do this. Like, no, Heffa, there's a reason why I'm telling you go this way. So you don't have to worry about those roadblocks on this way. Remember, those roadblocks have already been blown down and freaking gunned through and mowed down by yours truly, your daddy. So, but yeah, that's so right now we've created. Well, one, we've told you our backstory. We told you our introductions. Now, here's the introduction on why we created, or why we decided to create this entertaining podcast. Today is more informational of a podcast, but normally we go into crazy antics.
Yeah, we get
talk
stupid.
about- we do get stupid.
We get stupid.
Stupid and retarded. Dun, 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 dun. No, but serious. We try to bring together not only techie stuff, but more of a cultural background with our community, whether it's a Hispanic or Black or even minority, just the minority community in general, to give, not, like I said, not just tech stuff, but also a more uplifting, um, a more uplifting look at life, at career goals, and things of not stopping where people want you to stop, or not stopping because you're tired. Things don't freaking get easy. Things don't come to you easy. It only gets easier when you freaking knock damn doors down.
And when it gets really tough, that's when you're close. It took me a long time to realize that when it gets really tough, that's when you're this close to getting to where you need to get to.
And trust us on this, because, like I said, at one point I did work 2 jobs and try going to college, and that was a freaking ass pain. Don't do that. If you're gonna freaking do a job and go to college, just do one job. Either something easy for your job, or something that's in the career field that you want to go to.
Right.
So besides, like I said, besides tech, besides a uplifting morality, we also want to ensure that everyone knows, one, we can talk and shoot shit with each other. 2, we have each other's back. And 3, if you guys need help, don't forget to freaking either shoot shit with us on the message, DM us, or just freaking comment on any one of our videos that we post, or even on social media. We will get back to you. Do not freaking be impatient. Patience is a virtue. But I know a lot of people don't have the patience, but that needs to be built on, because not everything's going to be given to you right then and there. All right.
Right. I mean, yeah, like Joe said, we built this to give back, I guess you could say. He's gone through some things. I've gone through some things. I learned some life lessons. He has more life lessons than I do. But
Doesn't mean I'm old, motherfuckers. Doesn't mean I'm old.
He's just the old wise janitor of the group. That's all. Believe in yourself and throw the ball.
I know,
Believe
right?
in the ball and throw yourself. But yeah, we built this just to give back, guys. I mean, you know,
We wanted to build back. Sorry to cut you off, Renzo.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
We wanted to give back, but we also wanted to build a community that helps not just the younger audience, but also the older audience that are a little bit lost and don't have I wouldn't say that don't have a voice, but don't have a link to just to connect. A link just to connect with common mindsets, common knowledge, or even exploring that knowledge that, hey, if you weren't a freaking techie person, you want to go into tech. Or if you're an anime freaking guru and you want to pass that more knowledge on, hey, on the next episode of this, be ready. No spoilers, but be ready.
7 days, apparently. 7 days. Shit. No pressure. gotta catch up on 4 seasons in 7 days.
Yep. Hey, I caught up to what? I think I caught up to 3 seasons in less than 7 days. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, maybe it's possible. Right, maybe it's doable. I'll put this to the test.
But at the same time, like I said, guys, freaking League of Reyes is a community-based podcast that we want to pass on knowledge as well as just connect with everyone out there, out in the freaking metaverse, out in freaking just any type of universe that we're living in, and have a commonality on trying to keep each other, one, supported and uplifting each other and making each other understand you're not alone, and 2, hey, we're most likely like the same shit, so get your ass in here because we need more information on the next freaking anime movie that's coming out, the next freaking tech freaking TV show or movie that either was underrated, overrated, or that needs to be coming out. Or 3, you want some assistance or you want to give us some assistance and guidance on the techie world, on programming, on cybersecurity, or freaking Python knowledge and everything. So we want everyone to come in open-minded and shoot your shit, because guess what? We're gonna keep shooting our shit and we're gonna freaking make this more informational, but more antics are gonna keep on coming, because today's intro, we've only scratched the surface on our antics.
There's a shit ton of shenanigans that you guys have not seen behind the scenes.
Wait until the next freaking the next section that we're about to talk about. That's 1, interesting, and 2, we'll continue on building that knowledge on Black History Month that not a lot of people understand or freaking know.
All right. Which one should we go for first?
Well, hold on.
Should we touch our childhood or should we touch?
That is a good question. Actually, no.
Childhood or communication?
Let's do communication, since we were just talking about how we got into tech, how we just continue going into our techie background.
All right.
So yeah, let's go in. We're gonna pivot from our introductions. Everyone knows, and the more you know is going to be the better for. It's going to be the better concept, or the better future of understanding, where no one tells us this information. Certain information people are not going to tell you willingly. So a lot of this you're just going to have to find out on your own.
Right.
And lucky enough for you, these next 2 freaking, how should I say, these next 2 motivators or innovators.
Okay.
Innovators. I say innovators, because guess what? This shit is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of you would have known that these 2 innovators and inventors created certain technology that we're about to show you.
Let's take a little trip back in time to when we all had phones in our homes. Yes, long before cell phones, we had landlines. These phones had funny-looking plugs that went into our walls. They hung in the kitchen. They lived on our nightstands. Fancy people had them in the bathroom. But home phones are making a comeback, and that historic wire is all but gone. It's because innovators dreamed that new communication might be with your voice over IP. Here's Allie Ward to explain.
Some people build connections through conversation, others through sports or artistic expression. One way that Marion Croak, PhD, builds connections is through technology as a developer of voice over internet protocol, technology that converts your voice into a digital signal. Marion has received more than 200 patents for her work in the fields of voice and data communication. We connected from opposite coasts using technology that Marion played an integral role in developing. Dr. Croak, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. I think it's so fun that we get to talk to each other this way. Are we using voice over internet protocol to communicate right now?
We certainly are, and it's been amazing to see how ubiquitous it's become during COVID. Most people, when they're chatting over video calls, are using voice over IP.
What's the way that cool people talk about it?
They'll say VoIP. VoIP is the cool way of saying it.
Can you tell me how VoIP works in a nutshell?
When you're talking, you create sound waves. And those sound waves have a lot of silence in them. So think of having an internet connection and then packetizing, putting those sound waves, breaking them up into bits, almost like data, and putting them in envelopes, packetizing them, and then sending them across the internet, and then they're unpackaged.
Marion says that since she was a young girl, and that's her on the left with her dad and her sister Susan, she's been attracted to problem solving.
Anyone who would be able to fix something that was broken, all of those models really helped me to get on this path of being an engineer and a technologist.
Through her combined expertise in quantitative analysis and social psychology, Marion's expression is technology, and her motivation is people.
I have always been interested in human behavior and trying to understand why people do certain things or not do certain things. So humanity is extremely interesting to me. And then I love the logic of statistics. It just seemed like it was a very definitive thing as opposed to human behavior, which is quite mysterious at times. You need to have an imagination and you need to think out of the box. I think that stimulates you into using your STEM background in very useful ways.
That's one innovator.
So if you guys don't know what VoIP is, they already said voice over internet protocol. So examples of a VoIP protocol or voice over internet protocol is Google Voice,
Zoom.
Skype, Zoom, FaceTime. What else?
Duo, Google Duo.
Was it?
Google Duo. It's like Google. It's like Google's version of FaceTime.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything
That
else?
as well as like Teams, like your Teams meetings or your Slack meetings, things like that.
Right.
Anything that uses a Ethernet to from one phone to another or communication to another location, whether it's to the next room, to a freaking another state or across the world. VoIP is everywhere. So besides having your digital freaking phones, your Samsung Galaxies, your iPhones, some people, unfortunately, some people still use flip phones razor phones, things like that. But with this technology, and to understand and even know that Marianne Croak was the inventor of this, just blows your goddamn mind.
I didn't know that it was actually a black woman that actually created this. Like, I didn't know. It's just like I didn't know that Jack Daniel's recipe was not Jack Daniel's recipe. But it blows my mind that actually occurred. But like you said, it just goes to show you that, you know, they don't want to. There are certain things that they try to hide. Like I said, that's a whole conversation for another day, another podcast. But you know, it's Black History Month, and we're trying to celebrate those that made an impact today. I mean, how if it wasn't for her and her invention, I think the world would have stopped in 2020. Either that, or a lot more people would have gotten sick.
Nah, a lot more people would have freaking stopped way before 2020.
Yeah.
But with her, with her inventions and patents, it did help. COVID, I say the COVID shutdowns a little easier for jobs and communications with families and everything, because without that, you wouldn't have much of FaceTime. Shit, you wouldn't have a lot of FaceTime whether you're in a military duty station or if you're on WhatsApp. And that's another one. WhatsApp freaking uses a certain version of VoIP. It's not exactly voice over internet protocol, just for the simple fact that they're, how should I say, they're open ended, and unfortunately, that's why certain people get hacked and everything. They lose their information because it's leaked easier.
Right.
But at least a few months ago, they did fix that, so hopefully there's no further issues. But at the same time, we do have to worry about people leaving in back doors on a lot of things, or people not, how should I say, not creating passwords that aren't universally used for all their logins. I am a culprit of that, to a certain extent, but I know people that use. One, I know people. Two, I've seen people use the ridiculous password combination that it doesn't take that long. It takes seconds to break some of their stuff, but I'm not gonna keep freaking telling people what to do. They're just gonna find out themselves. But to go back on this inventor, this freaking inspiration for minorities to continue on inventing or figuring out the next best thing in technology and in the world nowadays. Seeing this woman have over 200 patents. If you guys don't know, it takes months to get a patent.
Minimum
For her
months.
to have,
Minimum.
yeah, for her to have over 200 and to be the initial inventor for VoIP phones, VoIP freaking technology is wild. It's fucking wild. And you don't hear, and the crazy part is you don't hear this in schools like for CCNA and Cisco schools, or other communication schools that teach about this type of technology. They don't give you a real I shouldn't say a beneficial background history of this type of technology. A lot of this stuff you guys will have to find on your own. Lucky enough, you have us here. We found it. Lucky enough, I did find it, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh shit! Like goddamn, she was the one to find this. Like, I have to, oh, Angel, I have to, and bear with me because she deserves this.
We're not worthy!
No.
We're not worthy! We suck!
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, without her, these things right here would be just bricks that we would still have to communicate with the old-fashioned way. You know, we wouldn't be able to see each other's faces. We wouldn't be able to connect with people halfway across the world. You know, or our loved ones in the Caribbean or whatever, just, or hell, wherever within the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would have to actually still get on. I mean, granted, I don't mind taking a trip, but get on a plane and go see them physically. If not, I mean, you know, she changed that. It was a real game changer. Like, without her invention, we probably, I don't know where we'd be right now, but it's definitely a huge game changer, and it's changed the telecom industry. Whereas
You
now,
know where we'll be.
yeah.
Next show.
Where you at?
Yep. Oh man.
And you know what's crazy? I didn't realize that VoIP was actually that new. I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty old, man. No, like
It's not crazy new, and it's not old. Because remember, Skype's been around like before 2014, give or take.
right, but the concept in itself, I didn't realize it was that new. I thought it was like
it's still fresh. Yep. And it's still freaking it's still getting better and more. I shouldn't say more restrictions, but it's getting safer to use for a lot of companies use it for almost everything.
yeah.
It's awesome. It's actually pretty cool, and if you know what you're doing, you can make your house, your freaking your I shouldn't say landlines, but your in-home freaking telecommunications a lot more secure than just using typical Verizon or AT&T or Optimum or whatever.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, man, she definitely deserves her flowers. Hopefully, it brings light to other inventors, like my next one.
Yep.
This one was our childhood.
I think V and Andrew and Wonder Woman, I hope you guys had a childhood, because if you did, then this next one you're gonna love.
I'm Lonnie Johnson. I'm an inventor. The invention that most people know me for is the Super Soaker water gun. I knew the gun worked well, and I knew it would be successful. I did not realize how successful it would be. It became the #1 selling toy in the world. My career started actually when I was in high school. I built a robot that won a regional science fair at the University of Alabama. I went on to work at Oak Ridge National Laboratory as a research engineer on high-temperature nuclear reactors, Air Force Weapons Laboratory on advanced spacecraft that use nuclear power sources, then to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, working on the Galileo spacecraft as the power systems engineer. When I was at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory back in the early 80s is when I first got the idea. The Super Soaker was based on some engineering principles that I applied. I was actually working on another invention, which was a heat pump that would use water as a working fluid instead of Freon. And I shot this stream of water across the bathroom using some nozzles that I'd made, and I thought to myself, geez, if I were to develop a new type of water gun that was a high-performance water gun, it could really do well.
That's not pressure, pressure.
Initially, I wanted to manufacture the gun myself, but when I went to a plastics injection molding manufacturing company and talked to them about the parts that I needed, what I needed to have made, it turned out it was going to cost about $200,000 to get the first 1,000 guns produced. And I thought to myself, I was an officer in the military at the time. I didn't have $200,000 in cash laying around. I decided to come to New York, present my ideas at Toy Fair, and try to find a manufacturer that I could work with. And it was there that I met the people at Laramie. They invited me to come to their headquarters in Philadelphia. It took about 2 weeks to build the gun, and as soon as it was finished, I called the guys at Laramie because I didn't want him to forget my conversation. I got my suitcase and went in, and of course I had my prototypes in the suitcase. I opened it up, and they asked to see what I had, and I showed them the gun. They said, well, does it work? How well does it work? So I pumped it up and shot it across the conference room. The president of the company said, wow, you know, and that was it. I knew I captured their imagination, and the rest is history.
So
Actually, the first year it was called Drencher. It was not called a Super Soaker. Someone claimed the name of Drencher and wanted us to pay royalties on that, and so we changed the name. That's when we came up with the name of Super Soaker. The guns were literally blowing off the shelves by word of mouth. We couldn't keep up with demand. People would say, you know, Johnson, you're really lucky. And I saw it as just a lot of hard work. It took 10 years from the idea to major success. And I started my own business and built my company, my research company, with the proceeds from that invention. I don't really talk about how much money that I've made from the invention, but I think it is fair to say that just about all of it is going into the research that I'm conducting. So it's going back into the company to develop some of the energy technology that I'm focused on. I am a nuclear engineer. I'm working on advanced energy technology. I have a new type of engine that converts heat into electricity, and I've also developed a new type of battery that's all ceramic without liquid electrolyte. The other toy gun that was on the market and enjoying major success was these Nerf dart guns.
It's Nerf
Wait,
or nothing.
he did
You gotta
Nerf
wait
too?
You gotta
Got
wait.
that part of the market too. So I started developing Nerf dart guns, and I've developed guns that outperformed the guns that Hasbro had on the market at the time. And eventually ended up doing a deal with Hasbro to license my dart guns. And at that point, I literally was the king of all toy guns.
What?
I guess you weren't listening to me when I first told you about him, did you?
I knew he did the Super Soaker. I didn't know he made the Nerf gun. Like,
Yep. He was the inventor of the Nerf gun, man.
jeez. I owe this man my childhood. I owe this man my childhood, bro.
Everyone owes this man freaking their childhood and their freaking their prank wars and everything. Yeah.
All right, I gotta find this man, buy him a steak, maybe some scotch.
And the fact that he was an Air Force officer while he started initially creating the Super Soaker.
That's
And the crazy part, if you remember, I don't think anyone. Well, some people might understand where he was coming from, where he had to rename the Super Soaker to Super Soaker because they actually had it labeled as Drencher.
Right.
Drencher, if I remember correctly, was not the knockoff, but the bootleg version of the water guns.
The little 25-cent one? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That company freaking had what was called the Drenchers and everything. But now, watching that video again, now I want to see for the person that created the hydroabrasion tool for dentistry, as well as for construction, if they got their idea from the Super Soaker. For the simple fact that the hydroabrasion, just the technology itself, is using water at a certain pressure, at a certain pound per pressure. What was it pounds per inch?
Square per inch.
Yeah. Wherein in dentistry they use that to clear off not just cavities but plaque, gingivitis, cleaning your freaking teeth. But in construction, they actually use that to cut concrete.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's wild the fact that this man created the Super Soaker and the Nerf gun, but most likely is the inspiration for other tools that is used wildly nowadays.
I wouldn't get it past him, man. I wouldn't get it past him. I mean, something small. That's usually how it goes. It usually starts off with someone's idea, and then they just recreate it or reinvent it for their own. I mean, I don't know. But listen, all I know is I need to find this man before he dies. Get Give him steaks. Give him a steak dinner. Give him a bottle of scotch. And yeah, I mean, without him, I don't think I would have. My summers would be boring as hell without him. Filling up water balloons, nah, sucks.
But yeah, freaking filling up those water balloons, filling up freaking. I shouldn't say filling up. Trying to steal someone's, or I should say, acquire someone's water hose for your freaking water gun fight or for your freaking water fight.
That's wild, man. I did not know that. I only knew him as a guy who invented the super soaker. I didn't know he did the other stuff.
Yep.
And he's still inventing stuff. That's just a testament to him, man. That's a testament to them. Like, they don't let. I mean, like you said, he was an officer. He was an Air Force officer, and yet he was still doing things on the side.
Yep. And he worked on freaking at NASA on that, was it the satellite or freaking, I forgot what it was. They showed it in the clip. But that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the Galileo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I forgot what it was.
That just goes to show you. You guys got something that you want to get done, or you have a vision. Get it done. Get it done. It took him 10 years, but you know what? 10 years later, that's why the 90s were so great. He spent all the 80s perfecting it and let it out in the 90s.
And that's wild, the fact that just the tools in itself. If you guys actually watch the video from the beginning, you see the prototype that he was using, the outline. I shouldn't say the outline, but the piping that he was using to show what it can be used for, or what he was able to use it for other projects before he even made it as a childhood toy or a freaking a childhood use to enlighten our childhood. Because like what V said, the 90s was fucking awesome.
Such a good time. Such a good time. Just take me back, just for a day. Just for a day.
That's wild. But yeah, Andrew, like we always said, we try to bring up interesting topics, especially this month for Black History Month. We had two other inventors on our last episode, but our last episode, I guess, got really jacked up and corrupted. So we might talk about it next week.
Yeah.
To close out Black History Month, even though it's already going to be in March, because obviously Black History Month is the shortest month of the year. But at the same time, we sure already know Black History Month shouldn't be just one month. It should be all months, because Black history is American history. So it's a lot of minority history, freaking from the Spanish American War to everything else. I can keep going on and on, but we'll build up the topics each episode at a time. And like I said, the next episode, we'll make sure that we incorporate the last two inventors, because the last two inventors was wild.
Yeah.
Was wild. So it was definitely freaking interesting. Definitely topics that we wanted to talk about, and definitely something that a lot of people don't know and think that they know, but they don't know.
You think you know, you have no idea.
The more you know.
That's gonna be the motto. I think we might.
Yeah, I told you. I already wrote it in. I already wrote it in our freaking chat. The motto of this month is freaking the more you know.
I'm extending that to March. Screw it.
Yep.
I'm extending it to March. Oh man. But guys,
hell yeah, Andrew, be there. Be there, man.
Yes, please. Oh man. Yeah, I'm still in shock about this. It's bad. That's bad, my childhood. But guys, we're gonna call it. That's our little episode for this week. Just keep an eye out. We're gonna be streaming every Thursday 9 p.m. Hopefully hopefully as the months goes on, these troubleshooting issues at the beginning go away. If not, it's part of the. We're gonna make it part of the episode. And as time goes on, I mean, if you guys have any topics or anything like that, please leave a comment. Leave a comment for any interesting topics that you guys want to discuss. I mean, we'll be more than happy to discuss it.
Yep. Either leave a comment or well, one, leave a comment in the video, leave a comment in the chat, or leave a comment in our social medias, or even DM us on League of Reyes. We always monitor that. We always make sure that we try to keep that updated, especially now that the years is already started, and we're trying to build this brand even more and build this community even bigger. So like Arranger said, if you guys have any new ideas or any topics that you found interesting throughout your lifetime, or you just found out just out of the wind because you're watching TikTok or YouTube or some craziness like that, let us know. We'll most likely talk about it. If it's not the next episode, it's going to be on an episode on the agenda. We already have certain things on the agenda written down, and yeah, we want to talk about more, and we want to bring more people into the mix, as well as just freaking connect with more people, just for the simple fact that it's not just a male freaking invention, or guys do this, guys do that. You already saw freaking Dr. Marion Croak. She invented freaking the most pinnacle technology of freaking nowadays. The most pinnacle technology of the shutdown of the pandemic. And we got through that. So the more freaking we support each other, the more that we communicate with each other and uplift each other, the more we're gonna freaking know. If you guys know and we don't, let us know, because we want to know more too.
That's for sure. It's the beauty about the creative path that we chose. We gotta keep learning. If not, we're screwed.
Yep.
But guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. I am Orange Otacon. Sorry, I got nothing witty this week. I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock that this guy created my childhood. Like,
guys, as you already know, I am Tecmo Joe. You guys just joined and participated and just watched one of the many episodes of League of Reyes. Stay tuned, like, follow, subscribe, share the shit out of this, because guess what? We're gonna have more things to freaking talk about, and we love you guys. Aloha, everyone. Arangel.
Oh, sorry, bro. And who knows? Maybe we'll bring you onto the podcast to join the discussion.
Oh, it's doable. It is doable.
Listen, I'm just saying. But as always, guys, take care of each other. Look out for each other.
Stay safe, guys.
We'll see you
Aloha.
soon.
Come on, ay, 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 ay.